Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are zeroing in on the hidden science of how solid solutes actually dissolve into aqueous solutions. We're anchoring this whole breakdown straight to the TEKS 7.6E standard. So if you've ever stopped to wonder about the literal physics and chemistry happening right there inside your everyday kitchen glass, well, you are in the exact right place. Let's jump right in. Okay, let's dive into this with a question that's going to drive everything today. What factors actually cause sugar to dissolve quickly? I mean, it sounds super simple, right? It's this everyday enigma we face anytime we mix up a batch of sweet tea or a pitcher of lemonade. But from a scientific standpoint, there is a whole complex dance of physical factors deciding exactly how fast those little sweet crystals vanish into the liquid. We're not just making a drink here, we're hunting down the exact, measurable physical variables that trigger that reaction.
So here's our scientific roadmap for today. 1. The sweet tea dilemma. 2. The language of dissolving. 3. The surface area experiment. 4. Proving cause and effect. And finally, number 5, speeding up dissolution.
All right, part 1, the sweet tea dilemma, variables in a glass.
Now think about the wildly different ways people actually sweeten their tea. It's honestly like a perfect accidental laboratory. You've got someone who might drop in a solid sugar cube and start stirring, while the next person completely skips the cube for a spoonful of loose granulated sugar. And then there's the speed factor. Some folks stir their glass frantically, like they're trying to whip up a kitchen tornado, while others just do the slow, leisurely swirl. And what about temperature? Some add sugar before the ice, working with a warmer liquid, while the impatient ones try to sweeten an ice-cold beverage. You might even have that one person who just dumps the sugar in and lets it sit there. The crazy thing is, all of these random personal preferences, they represent actual testable scientific variables.
Moving on to part 2. The language of dissolving. Key vocabulary.
First up is the absolute star of our show, dissolution. Scientifically speaking, this is just the process where particles of a solute, like our sugar, spread within a solvent, like our tea, to form a fully mixed solution. I want you to picture this mentally right now. You've got this solid, dense clump of sugar, and bit by bit, the individual particles are literally being pulled apart and spreading outward, diffusing perfectly into the liquid around it. That spreading action, that is dissolution.
But here's the thing. We aren't just looking at whether the sugar dissolves. I mean, given enough time, almost anything will dissolve, right? As scientists, we really care about the rate. Rate is a measurement of the speed at which something happens or changes in a particular period. So for our tea, the rate of dissolution is specifically how fast that solid sugar disappears into the solution. The quicker it vanishes, the faster its dissolution rate. Basically, time is the critical factor we're watching here.
And our final key term is agitate. To agitate is simply to make a substance move around by stirring or shaking it. Simple as that. So when you frantically spin that spoon in your glass, or when you cap a bottle and shake it up, you are actively agitating the solution.
Okay, part 3. The surface area experiment. Modeling the math.
To really wrap our heads around surface area, we can use a quick lab with interlocking bricks. Let's kind of mentally model this together. First, imagine taking 27 small individual interlocking cubes and stacking them perfectly together to build one giant cube. If you were to take that single giant cube and dip it in water, only the very outside surfaces of that big block get wet, right? The cubes trapped on the inside stay perfectly dry because they're totally hidden. Now, step 2. We calculate the surface area of just one of those tiny small bricks on its own. And for step 3, we multiply that individual surface area by 27, since that is our total number of small bricks.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core concept. The total surface area of one large block is significantly smaller than the total surface area of the exact same material broken down into multiple small blocks. By breaking the large structure apart, you're exposing all those hidden inside faces to the outside environment. The total volume of the material hasn't changed at all, but the total surface area has drastically increased. This mathematically proves why granulated sugar, which is essentially just a sugar cube smashed into tiny individual blocks, has a massively larger surface area than a single solid sugar cube.
Let's shift to part 4, proving cause and effect, the rules of science.
Science isn't just about guessing. It requires a really rigorous framework. A cause and effect relationship is a relationship between two variables where a change in one variable directly causes a change in the other variable. We have to be incredibly careful with this because a lot of variables are closely associated, but they don't actually have a cause and effect relationship. Just because two things happened at the exact same time absolutely does not mean one caused the other. We have to prove it.
So how exactly do we prove it? Well, there are 3 strict criteria. Rule number 1, the cause must occur before the effect. Chronology matters here. Rule number 2, when the cause occurs, the effect occurs. It has to be completely reliable. And rule number 3, which honestly is usually the hardest to prove, is that absolutely no other variable can explain the relationship. You literally have to eliminate all other possibilities before you can confidently say, yes, doing X definitively caused Y.
Which brings us to part 5, speeding up dissolution, the final verdict.
Let's bring this all back to the driving question that kicked off today's explainer. What factors cause sugar to dissolve quickly? Out of all our sweet tea variables, which ones actually pass that strict 3-part test for a cause and effect relationship? Let's look at the data.
So the crucial point is this. We have 3 definitive factors that pass the test and speed up the rate of dissolution. Number 1 is increased temperature. Hot tea is going to dissolve sugar way faster than ice-cold tea. Number 2 is increased surface area. As we proved with our interlocking bricks, breaking a solid block down into multiple small blocks exposes more surface to the liquid. Therefore, granulated sugar dissolves faster than a dense sugar cube. And number 3 is agitation. Actively stirring or shaking the tea moves the substance around, which dramatically increases the dissolution rate compared to just letting that sugar sit lazily at the bottom of the glass.
So, the next time you find yourself standing in the kitchen, spoon in hand, I want you to remember this. You aren't just making a drink anymore. You're a scientist actively manipulating temperature, maximizing surface area, and applying physical agitation to fundamentally accelerate the creation of an aqueous solution. Our everyday lives are just full of these hidden testable variables. So what other invisible science experiments are you conducting in your kitchen right now without even realizing it? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and stay curious.